Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? This is a message from the captain. In 15 minutes' time, the alarm gongs throughout the ship will be rung. This is the signal for passenger boat drill. You are requested to go to your cabin and put on your life jacket. Then, when you hear the emergency signal, to follow the red or green arrows to your emergency station. The emergency signal is a succession of 7 or more short blasts, followed by 1 long blast on the ship's whistle, supplemented by the ringing of the electrically operated gongs throughout the ship. The notice in your cabin, which shows you how to wear your life jacket, also tells you the number of your emergency station. Bedroom stewards and stewardesses are now on duty to assist you in adjusting your life jacket and also to show you the most direct route from your cabin to your emergency station. Your attention, please. This is a message from the staff captain. You are mustered indoors and not on the open decks by the lifeboats, the reason being that in an emergency you might be at your stations for some time, and we prefer you to remain under shelter. If the necessity arose for you to embark in the boats, the officer in charge of your station would lead you to a particular boat. At some stations, passengers would be taken to the boat deck to embark in the boats. At other stations, they would embark from the upper deck through the large doors in the ship's side, the boats having been previously lowered to that level. If you have any questions or wish any further guidance, please ask the officer at your station at the end of the message from the captain, which now follows. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? This is a message from the captain. You should now be standing at your emergency stations. This is where you should come if, at any time during the voyage, you hear the emergency signal. And the object of this drill is to let everyone know exactly what to do in the event of such an emergency arising. The emergency signal is a succession of 7 or more short blasts, followed by 1 long blast on the ship's whistle, and supplemented by the ringing of the electrically operated gongs throughout the ship, which you have just heard. As it is important that everyone should remember the emergency signal, I will repeat it. It is a succession of 7 or more short blasts, followed by 1 long blast on the ship's whistle, supplemented by the ringing of the electrically operated gongs throughout the ship. On hearing this signal, you should make your way quickly but quietly to your cabin. Put on some warm clothing and your life jacket, and then follow the red or green arrows to your emergency station, where you will be kept fully informed over the loudspeakers, through which I'm speaking to you now, as to exactly what the situation is. Now, a word about fire, which, as you all know, is a serious hazard at sea. I want to ask you all, and particularly those of you who smoke, to be very fire conscious during your stay on board. Please place all lighted cigarettes and cigar ends in the receptacles provided throughout the ship, and do not throw cigarette or cigar ends or knock out your pipe over the ship's side. The sea might seem to be the safest place for a lighted cigarette, but due to the ship's speed, there is always a great danger of it being carried through an open porthole, landing on a bed and causing serious damage or perhaps injury to a sleeping passenger. There are 2 other points to which I'd like to draw your attention. Will parents warn their children never to climb on the ship's rails, stairways or banisters, and to be very careful when playing on the open decks after rain? The ship's whistles will be sounded each day at noon for testing purposes. The first blast of the whistle marks the correct time of 12 noon. The officers in charge of your boat station are waiting now to answer any questions you may wish to ask about this drill. So it only remains for me to thank you for your cooperation and ask you please to return your life jackets to your cabins after the drill. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is all.